The Tony Gebhardt Show. Music, motivation, and positively obnoxious. Hey, welcome to episode number 9 of The Tony Gebhardt Show. Thank you for taking the time to click on over. Hope you guys are doing really well. Today is February 25th, 2023, and it's already almost March. This week was interesting, I gotta say. I went to the dentist on Friday to do a yearly checkup. And I don't know, genetically in my family, we have good-looking teeth, but not the greatest teeth. Had to get a crown, right? For an old root canal that I had done years ago. And I gotta say, the way that they shave that stuff down, right? Disclaimer, graphic. My tooth looked like a stump. I was like, let me check this out before y'all put the crown on. It was like, man, you guys just annihilated this thing. So I got the crown. Just a temporary one until the real one comes. Got an appointment a couple weeks out. Thankfully, the doctor's really nice. She's cool. You know, she's not crazy. She's not out to kill me. And I don't know. In my opinion, I think the worst place to have your teeth, like to have surgery or have work done, is your fucking teeth. I really do. The worst pain, some of the worst pressure, you name it. If you're watching the podcast live, good morning to you from Alaska. Happy Saturday. Hope you're having a good weekend. And if you're listening to this now, just know that you are valued and loved. And I know that you have a purpose. And I'm glad that you're here today. This week was bad mental health-wise. I mean, it was better than most, but still wasn't the greatest. But it finished good. Work's been busy nonstop. 2 students already this morning, and I got one more. And my afternoon kind of opened up, so that's nice. I'm going to take that time to work on the business, take care of a few things, and spend some time kind of just bettering me. Again, got one more logo for the business, so that's great. And doing more work on that and communicating with them as far as what's going to be the best. I'm going to open up chat here. So, of course, in live, you guys are going to see most of all this. However, in the episode that goes live on Apple, Spotify, and Anchor, you will not, because you're just privileged like that, I guess. So let's pull that up so I can interact with you. But on today's episode, we've got my friend Ben McCandless, who's a professional massage therapist. He's made his own alcohol. He's made his own sauces, his own lotions, and sold them directly out of his home. For fun, family and friends. Nothing too serious with that, but family and friends. And he's awesome. He's a great guy. Love him to death. Big advocate for independence. Been married for a number of years. He's down in Florida, and I've always appreciated talking to him. He's a good man, and we had a really good conversation. So I'm excited to show you that interview that we recorded. I can't believe it, though. We're almost to 10 full episodes. 10 full episodes. As you've noticed, I've been putting out some bonus content every Wednesday. Affirmations Aloud, where I share a positive affirmation or mental health tip for you that has helped me in my life through my personal experiences and things that I've struggled with. So I hope you guys find that beneficial and that it is helpful for you. My gosh, live concert coming up next Saturday that I'll be doing on YouTube, March 4th. So I'm excited for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Last one was pretty good, super successful. I had 20 people or so tuned in all at once, and overall ended up with 80 by the end of the night. So that was really cool. Thank you guys for supporting me in that, and choosing my end of the internet to hang out for your evening. And I hope you do it again. And we're gonna be doing some new songs too. I got plans for a couple of new tunes. Stuff that you haven't heard yet. Ooh. I know. It's going to be intense. It's going to be intense. It's going to be intense. What else is new? My God. So in my professional life, we've got a youth program that's coming up the week of March 13th at the Center for the Blind. Been putting that together. Just got a lot of students rallied up the other day. And actually, speaking of that, there's a story. So yesterday, I was invited to the Anchorage School District's Blind and Low Vision Department's outing. Okay. The orientation and mobility team of the BVI department had invited me out to hang out with the kids and them. We went snowshoeing at Campbell Creek Science Center here in Anchorage. And it was awesome. Okay, it was awesome. So of course I'm a child at heart. I'm only 26. And like for that whole time, I went in shoes for my snow pants, put on the snowshoes, which took 10 minutes. Obviously, that was my first time snowshoeing too. You know, I've snowboarded before, I've skied, but I've never actually done snowshoeing. So it was my first. And with that being said, I was not 100% experienced, but I did okay. I only fell twice. First time I posed for a photo and did a really ridiculous kung fu pose, and I fell. I fell into a drift of snow. Everybody saw it, and it was caught on video. It was awesome. Looked like a fool, acted like a fool. And it made people smile. And that's all I cared about. Some great minds out there, though, man. Some really cool students. Sat and talked with them, got to know them for a while. And I got a lot of yeses for the youth program. So I think it was a win-win. It was a frickin' win. So the snowshoeing event went great. And then we went to Golden Corral, which I have a secret love for. I mean, $15 to eat whatever the fuck you want. I mean, come on. Sure, sometimes the food isn't 100% amazing, but I don't care. I'm not going for a 5-star meal. You know? I'm going for the ice cream. I'm going for the hamburgers. I'm going for the French fries and onion rings. I mean, come on. That's what I'm going for. So I had a burger. I had fries. I had onion rings. I had some hush puppies. I had a piece of, what was it? Chocolate mousse pie. And then a brownie. And then 2 things of ice cream. I was so bloated afterwards. I felt like I died. But it was great because everybody else, all the students were having a great time. They filled up. The other teachers filled up. I mean, you can't argue with that kind of camaraderie, you know? The line wasn't as long as I thought it was. The last time we went to Golden Corral with the students that line was out the door. And of course it was. You know, it was lunchtime on a Friday. So of course everyone's going to be eating and getting out there. So, but, you know, for what it was good. And I enjoyed it. And yeah. But anyways, I think, you know, overall, anxiety sucks. I hate it so much. Like, I take medication for it. I work out a little bit. I eat well. But I think what sometimes I forget, and I know a lot of people do forget, is medication isn't magic. It's a kind of magic. You know? It's not a magic. It's something that just helps manage it. You know, it helps maintain. Official Tonito Music is in the house, and he says he loves Golden Corral. I love it. You know, it's weird. Anxiety is a weird thing. You know, 1 minute you feel conscious, you feel like you're on top of the world, that you could punch the sky and be like, fuck yeah! But then the next moment, you're stuck, right? You know, you're frozen in place and things seem way too real. But that's all right. Because we're here. You know, we overcome. When we're faced with a challenge, there's no other choice. You fight it. To reiterate, today we've got Ben McCandless on the show, professional massage therapist. Great guy. Awesome interview. Today's podcast is sponsored by Anchor. Are you looking for a new way to podcast? Look no further, my friend. Anchor is an amazing platform that provides you every tool that you need. providing audio editing within the app. Upload your podcast and have them distributed to every popular podcast platform such as Apple, Spotify, Google, you name it. Create your own custom website through WordPress on Anchor so that you can attain your own audience. Not only that, but there's opportunities for monetization. Make some money. Come on, who doesn't like money? Make some cash off of people who like your content and that you can provide them amazing words of encouragement, inspiration, comedy, whatever it is. Add sound effects. Make it funny. Doing. Okay? Go to anchor.fm and start podcasting today with just a few taps. Download the app. Go to the website, anchor.fm. You will have a good time. Anchor, a new way to podcast. Let's get to the podcast itself, the interview with Ben McCandless. Hey, this is Tony Gebhard with the Tony Gebhard Show, episode 9. And here in the virtual studio today, I've got my friend Ben McCandless, a man of many trades, and him and I go back a few years, and just a lot to say, a lot to share. And without further ado, Ben, what's going on, man? Good to see you again. The second attempt at doing a podcast with each other.
Yeah, right. The last one didn't show. It didn't turn out too bad. But
no, it didn't. It was a good conversation, but I didn't do much with it. So you're a massage therapist. You make your own lotions. You've made your own sauces, your own moonshine. I mean, man, you're doing it. You're doing it.
I keep. I have a few hobbies, and making lotions. I enjoy doing that. Using all natural products. An essential oil.
Sure.
To help people. Whether it's for aroma or specifically for their skin type.
Sure.
One for me the last time. You were telling me it was. You have sensitive skin on your face.
Absolutely.
How did the lotion do with your sensitive skin?
Well, for me, like when I got it, just amazing product that it was, sandalwood and just lavender and all of this in one lotion. The stinging sensations went away. My dry skin, I once I put that stuff on in the morning, there was probably a good 12 hours of comfort before I felt the need to reapply or take care of my face again.
Right.
And that's pretty
awesome.
Damn good. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The reason why I brought you on the podcast, man, really is, I've been very intrigued with watching other blindness professionals pursue their endeavors. And, I know you're a humble type of guy, and, it's just like, I'm just trying to get by and do my thing. And I respect that a lot. When we look at the demographic of our community within the 70 percentile unemployment rate, you're in that 30%. So am I. And it took a lot of hard work and advocacy just to be put within that group already. And I'm curious, what was it like for you in that journey from being unemployed to getting, going from that point at which you felt that you were unemployed and you found your first position as a massage therapist?
Oh, that was a long time ago. First job. You know what? We'll skip that part. How about when I moved back down here to Florida? Because, my wife and I, we lived in Pennsylvania for about 15 years. My wife was born and raised in Florida. So this was kind of her home. So we came back here a couple years ago, and we've been down here ever since. But here in Florida, I started my journey as a massage therapist in 1997.
I was 1 year old.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
Not even 2.
I stand corrected. Okay. And I am standing. Okay. So anyways, so back in 97, I got my license in 2004. So getting a job back then, it was very difficult. And that was down here in Florida. And then my wife and I, we moved a little further north where it wasn't such a large populated area. It wasn't turning into a metroplex or anything like that. So we moved to Fort Pierce, and when we did, the first place that I applied for, I interviewed and got the job. It was easy peasy. The owner, I gave her a massage, and that was my selling point. She's like, "I'm surprised you haven't done any other massages." And I was like, "They've never called me and asked me to come in for an interview, so that I can give them a massage. As soon as they find out I'm blind, they're like, no thanks, we're not hiring," or whatever they say,
Right.
because I like to let people know before I go in the door. I mean, every once in a while I get an itch and I'll be like, you know what, I'm gonna say a word. I'm gonna let these people find out when I walk in the door. They're gonna see me come in cane first.
And that's a hot topic right there. Not to interrupt you, but that's a hot topic right there. Knowing the difference of, do you advocate for the disability before the interview, or kind of just play it natural and sell yourself as best as possible when you walk in the door, giving them zero time to think about it.
Right. Zero time to think about it. Zero time to react to, because literally, like, you're walking in the door and it's like, oh my gosh, it's time for his interview. This is my interviewee. Like, what do I do? He's blind. Like, what?
Yeah.
I had one guy, he freaked out so bad. It was at Applebee's that he sent his assistant manager out to greet me instead of him doing the interview like he always does. But when they saw that I was blind, he sends his underling over there. He's like, you take care of it. I don't
sends in the goon squad. Yeah.
Right. He doesn't. He's the owner. So, I've had instances like that. I've had instances where I walk in the door, I put my hands on somebody, and somebody says, "That was the best massage I've ever had in my life. You're hired. When can you start?" That I need people like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
that probably makes you feel good.
It does. It absolutely does. Especially now when I still hear that 26 years later. You know what I'm saying? So that tells me, and it tells me what I already knew in the beginning, is I'm the best, and I'm not conceited. I'm convinced.
I love the confidence. Oh my God. That's good. And I think that's another thing that a lot of people in our community need to really identify with themselves, is understanding confidence. Like, it's not a bad thing or a taboo. Well, it is a taboo, but it's not something that I think in a lot of ways says a lot about a human being, right? Because I'll sit here and tell you, I'm a guitar player. I'm pretty good at what I do. I've been doing it for a long time and have put out records. I'm skilled at this. But that's also me acknowledging the work that I've put into it, right? Or podcasting. I know I do a decent job at it, but I'm here to acknowledge I'm confident. And that's what people want to invest in, is confidence. Not cockiness, but confidence.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Right. Don't be coming off arrogant. Arrogance is one thing. Confidence is something completely different.
It is. And I think what ends up happening, right, is people and I think this applies to the general public, not just our community, is we interpret confidence as arrogance only because we are insecure in that we are not able to attain the same level of confidence. So it's a combative response.
Well, it is an issue that I have come across in other people, with visual impairments or even other disabilities, where they learn to believe that they are now less of a person because you are missing some part of you that that's just doesn't work anymore for whatever reason. Like, whatever, if you're blind, if you're deaf, it's your hearing, whatever. You are missing something, and therefore you are less of a person. And therefore, and people like us, we are, all of us, even the ones that are leaders, we are all followers to some certain extent. So we will take what
as we should
tell
be.
us. Right. Well, right. Because you cannot lead somebody where you yourself will not follow.
There you go. I
So,
mean that's point blank, right? The
right.
first art of leadership is acknowledging that empathy should be at the core of all standards and
Absolutely.
connection with other people.
Right,
And
right.
then also being a leader, everything is your fault.
Right, right. Hey, that's right.
That's fascinating.
So yeah.
So tell me this then, man. I understand that you've now correct me if I'm wrong here, because I know since you transferred to Florida, you're working for a different entity now. Have you done your own private practice? And if
I,
so, what was that like?
Shauna and I, my wife and I, we opened our own mobile massage business. Okay. It was going to eventually be a brick and mortar spa, like full blown spa, because she was going to school for aesthetics. So she went to school to be an esthetician to do facials and skincare. And, I'm the massage therapist. And we both kind of owned the business together. It was a 50-50 split share. Although Shauna is cited and she did do a lot of like the business side of it, as far as like getting an account with Zen Business. If you don't know about Zen Business, I believe Zen Business, and not to promote their company or whatever, but they are nationwide and they are a good business to go with if you need to register your business.
Unsolicited ad. There you go. Zen Business, everybody.
Yeah,
Go check them
Zen
out.
Bid. Yep, yep. Okay, that for LLCs and all kinds of any kind of business you can open. All right, so yeah, we she did all that stuff, and I did the massages. I talked to the people. Anytime a client called, she would book the appointment, but she would put me on the phone with them to talk to them about why they need deep tissue, or why they think they need deep tissue, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? If they wanted a barefoot massage, do they understand what a barefoot massage is? And if not, would they like me to explain to them what a barefoot massage is? Things like that. So I would handle those
Right.
things with clients on the phone, and then Shauna would book the appointments, or whatever. She would do that part of it. And of course, Shauna was the driver. I throw my massage table in the back of the car. She drove me to the appointments. But we came, we crossed some issues. Number one, if it was me by myself, if I was sighted, you know, um, I could throw my table in my own car and drive to these appointments and all that stuff and buy my own gas and yada yada yada. I wouldn't have to disturb somebody else's life. You know what I'm saying? And she is my wife, but that does not mean that she is required to do anything for me whatsoever. Nothing. What required to do anything. She does it because she loves me. She did a lot of that side of the business. I did my side of the business. The other problem we had was me carrying a 22 to 25-pound massage table, very awkward, by the way, over my shoulder, and my neck, and carrying that thing up and down stairs and through people's homes where they have glass and glass tables and all these different things, like antique things sitting out, and
It sounds like
all
there's a
this
horror
stuff.
story. It sounds
It
like there's a
is.
horror story that you haven't told me about yet.
No, 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 no. There's no
I
horror
need.
stories. No, no, none there, because I stopped it before it could happen, because I knew
I was
if
hoping you
I
would tell me about a
continued.
time you dropped the table on a glass coffee table, and I was ready for it.
Yeah, no. That would have been brilliant, but no.
It would have been
No.
brilliant. Yes. Okay.
Because I could be like, oh shit, I didn't see that coffee table there. Damn.
There you go. See, you're not liable. You're not liable. There
Right,
you go.
right.
Okay.
But so anyway, that became an issue. So finally, we talked about it. The business was open for a year. In that year, I could count on one hand how many clients I had, and we spent over $8,000 trying to get that business going and with ads and different things. And like everybody was telling us, don't go with ads. That's a waste of money. You know, nobody reads the newspapers anymore. You know, they just throw those things in the garbage. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
Sure. Customer acquisition is expensive. It can be expensive.
Yeah, but we went with ads anyways because the guy was a good sales. You know, he was a good salesman. So he sold us on 6 months of ads, and we paid for it. And it wasn't terribly expensive, but it still cost us almost $3,000 out of our business account. You know what I'm saying? So last year, here, this is funny. This is actually funny. Last year, I think our business might actually have been the first business to ever get a tax return check because we spent more money than we made by a long shot.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. The IRS paid you.
Yeah, they sent us a check. We got
that's their way of sympathizing. Like
yeah, go open a business with like 10 grand. You know, make a few sales that year and spend all that money on stuff for your business, you know, but also, you know, stuff you could use for side hustles if you wanted to, you know.
Yeah.
Right? But you bought it for your business, but you could also use it on the side. So
that's a tax write-off.
Right, it's a tax write-off. So we spent more money than we made for that business. So therefore, we got money back. We ended up with like $3,000 back from that.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
$3,200.
I mean, right there. That's extremely helpful.
Yeah, but I mean, you're spending $10,000 to open a business in the first place. So, or you know, I mean, yeah, you're buying things, you know, for yourself, and you know, putting it on the business. Like for instance, I have the new Apple Watch 7, and I bought that on my business account because I had to have something to use as a timer while I do my massages. And the Apple Watch has a vibrate. Has a haptic where it'll tell you the time through haptics. So there's another unsolicited ad for Apple. Just throwing that out there.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah. Uh-oh.
Go.
Okay, there you are. I lost you for a second.
All right. I am here. No, I was saying like, an unsolicited ad from Apple. That would be great. Can you imagine? This podcast is brought to you by Apple. Can you hear me now, Mrs.? Are we coming through?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay. So my question then is this, right? You've learned a lot of lessons with owning a small business. And I actually find this very motivating for me because I just got licensed myself a couple of months ago from my multimedia company that's going to be launched in the next 2 months. And granted, different kind of hustle, not a lot of overhang costs because it is extremely digital. However, looking at equipment, right? Cameras, phones, speakers, advertising revenue, advertising and customer acquisition costs, like all of these things can be utilized as tax write-offs to impact the most positively effective return.
Okay.
And I'm just thinking, wow, where have I been? You know, because I could have been doing this years ago when I was starting to put together my albums and putting out merchandise and things of that nature. So it's motivating to me to really hear that validation and firsthand experience of working in a small business environment while dealing with the tax paperwork, dealing with the
Yeah.
tedious process of accounting.
Oh, see, we don't deal with that. Nope. I got a lady up in PA. She even does her taxes from down here. That lady, she is a miracle worker.
That's awesome.
She will find things to write off on your taxes to make sure that you get money back. Like, this lady is amazing, and it's all 100% legal. She is licensed and CPA and accountant and all that stuff. She does all that. She's
Wow.
been her dad
Wow.
owned the business before her. His dad owned the business before him. Like, it's been a family business for generations back, and throughout her family. So, but she don't have no kids, so she
So
don't
like
have
just
anybody to
hearing
pass it
this
on to.
hearing this, it's almost like a message to be sent out to young entrepreneurs like myself and Ben, for those of us, especially who are blind and low visually impaired, who depend so much on finding those revenue streams and side hustles and just ways of saving money.
Right.
Find a professional, do your research, find a professional who can do this accounting for you. Excuse me. Wow. Amazing. So we're now in 2023, and you live in Florida. You've made a big transition. You're working for a new company now,
Yep.
as I understand it. What has that been like? Switching from an switching from an entrepreneurial situation, now working for a company.
Um, I'm the one that actually, pushed for it. Shauna kept saying, "Oh, we got to do our business. Let's just do our business," and I'm like, "Well, we're not getting any clients. Let me just get something part time, and we could take the clients on the side." And finally, she was like, "Okay, fine." But the way it happened with where I work now, it's kind of bizarre. So that's what happened the first time. The first time was, I called, I spoke with the owner. Her name is Carol. I spoke with Carol on the phone. We agreed on a certain time and a day to come in for an interview. And that day came, and I got out of the shower and I'm getting dressed to go to this interview. And Shauna looks at me and she goes, "I don't want you to work there. We've never been there before. So we have no idea what the place looks like or anything." She just says, I don't want you to work there." And I was like, "Well, why?" She goes, "Because I think we could do this business." And I was like, "Well, I think we can too, but I think that's going to take some time, to build clientele. There's other therapists. There's a whole lot of other therapists in this area, and they're looking for clientele too. So it's a rat race, and so she finally agreed. Um, and the second time, this was after I had already turned Carol down. That she agreed, by the way. So I turned her down. Months went by. Still, we only had one client in that one, a few months. And then Shauna made the mistake of telling that client that she could get massages and facials at her school for a lot less cost. So she started going to that client started going to Shauna's school for her massages and stuff instead of, but rebooking with me. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. Anyways, it don't matter. It is what it is. So we closed the business, and or we decided to close the business. We didn't really actually close it until the beginning of last year, like around Marchish, somewhere around there. finally closing the whole thing sometime like in July or something like that. Um, and just dissolved the business completely. So it no longer exists.
Wow. And
That
that must
name,
have been hard.
yeah, because I mean, the name of the company is the one I've, when I dreamed of having my own spa, um, we used that name, which was Miracle Hands Massage and Body Works. So,
Right.
so now that name can never be used again, ever, for a business. So,
Right.
so I want to create another business.
There you go. One
Yeah,
door closes. That doesn't mean another one won't open.
right. So, but the second time with Carol, I had an interview all scheduled to meet up with her and interview with her. And then my little brother got in his accident and I flew up to New Hampshire. I called Carol. I texted her and I let her know in whatever way capacity that I could, let her know that I wasn't going to make the interview. She told me, you know what, you take care of you. Is that UKP? Oh, sorry.
You're good.
So she's like, you take care of you take care of your family, and you call me when you get back, and when you want to work, and you're ready to do so, you give me a call. So I was like, okay. So I went to New Hampshire, I don't need to go into detail about that.
Sure.
I did enough of that tonight. And when I got back like right before Christmas. It was like a couple days before Christmas. I got back, and I didn't do anything for a few days. Nothing at all. Just kind of sat in my room and just. Anyways, yeah, I said I wasn't going to go into detail. Anyways, so
You're totally good.
my
You're good, man.
yeah my around, I think it was around January. I think it was January 4th, actually. Yeah, I called Carol back. I set up an interview for January 4th. And I started working with her at her clinic. And it's not a spa, it's a clinic. There are all the other therapists, barring myself, they're all trained medical massage therapists. I only have experience. I've been doing it longer than any of the other therapists there, even the owner.
Right.
So, like,
Well, and I think it shows that experience is very valuable.
Absolutely,
It's
it
more
is.
significant in some regards than what your resume might say,
Right.
or a college
Absolutely.
degree.
Right. Experience is huge. I think it's paramount, honestly.
I do too. I do too.
If you have, that the experience in whatever you do, whatever it is, like Tony, you with your guitar, like I've heard you play, man, you're freaking amazing. I don't know how you do that. And
Thank you.
yeah, I got to tell you about that anyway, about something else, but not in the interview. But anyways, another time.
Okay. Okay.
But you have your talents and I got mine, So, but
And it's
if
something
you
to be
do
proud of.
right,
It's
but if
something to be
somebody
proud of.
came across, and I'm sure you come across this a lot in the music business, actually, where somebody doesn't appreciate your music. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason,
Yes.
they don't appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? So, we deal with people like that every day.
All the time. You bet.
Yeah, yeah.
And it comes down to growing some thick skin. You know, another lesson that has been learned in life, especially going into entrepreneurship, you know, building your own brand, finding a side hustle, or really just navigating an employment world, is we have to be ready to be
Right.
fed to the wolves.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
it's a harsh kind of perspective, but in reality, you know, it can be administered softly, yes, but I think there needs to be a reality check that we're dealing with a very sighted world, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
up to
absolutely.
us to be conscientious of not only their perspective, but how to advocate. Again, you know, we seem to be circling back to this, is how to advocate in the right way, right? So I might
Right.
say, well, you should hire me as your engineer. Why? Because number one, I've been working with music ever since I was 9 years old, and audio specifically is the one thing that's centered around doing engineering. And having hands-on experiences with mixing consoles allows me to properly adjust and make things work on the fly. And I've produced 8 albums. So here's my sample of my work. Let me know what you think. And that's
Right.
it. You know, that's a selling point. Elevator speech. There you
Yeah.
go. And
Yeah.
it's something that has to be rehearsed. It has to be something that's done within, I think, you know, humility, right? Because as I
Right.
said that, I didn't come off as cocky. I'm just letting you know my
Right.
experience. I'm letting you know that
Right.
I feel comfortable with it and that I've
Right.
done it for many years.
Exactly.
Well, shoot, man. This has been an amazing interview, and I say we bring this up to a close here because I got to run for dinner here with my wife. But thank you again for stopping by to share some of your perspective and your journey, really, and be, you know, just pouring your heart out as an entrepreneur, as someone who's experienced the sighted world as a blind individual with your various trades, you know. So I think a lot of people can benefit from stories like that, stories like yours. And
Yeah.
I
Thanks.
think, you know, at the end of the day, keep doing what you're doing, keep pursuing, persevere through any adverse situation that comes to you, and life will grant you that gift in the end. GreatNonprofits.org is a 501c3 nonprofit. Great Nonprofits helps people focus on making good giving decisions based on socially sourced feedback and reviews. Go to www.greatnonprofits.org and type in your zip code or city to find a charity or nonprofit near you that you can help.